All right, all right, all right. I always do that. I'm not trying to be Matthew McConaughey, but that sticks in me, and I always do it. Integrity. Wish everybody greetings of integrity, which covers completeness, wholeness, and every moniker of 8 different examples of the wholeness of the whole pie instead of a piece is within you. We talked about that in integrity the last time we talked, right? The word of the day was integrity. This is we're going to go to. It's kind of this will be. We'll call this off the cuff. It does deal with a couple of things, and it's a couple of words I'm going to deal with, and here they are. We're going to talk a little bit today about, and I mentioned it in 2 videos ago when I talked about the board meeting, and I had mentioned it once before, I believe, maybe in Word, and I decided to get in it, and it's called the demiurge. This is actually the etymology meaning of it. Um, right away, the demiurge works and is connected. It's a title of the magistrate, city, states, arcane league. It's a philosophy of a system, right? It's actually connected to demos, demon. It is. And the demiurge actually is kind of a zeitgeist, poltergeist. It's a division of society to divide, right? The demiurge is a writing that is in Gnosticism. It's taken from Gnosticism as the name of the maker of the world in the Gnostic systems, conceived as being subordinate to the supreme being. And sometimes is the author of evil. And then I notice I'm going to use some texts. Definitely Gnosticism goes into all cultures, but the recent has been Christianity. And when I think about 2 people I really think about when I think about the demiurge, and then I'm going to go New Testament scripture with the demiurge. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do this on my own, a different one, which will follow up with this on the Secret Book of John, which really goes into who the demiurge was in the Secret Book of John. But the demiurge. So the demiurge has a demotic, has a urge to be a tick or demon, conceived as being subordinate to the sometimes as an author of evil, right? So you might say, well, D-boy, why are you talking about the that? What's it tie into today? It to me also ties into the fact that we're going to look at this in another realm of something else, the demiurge, the Wikipedia aspect of it. We just went over the etymology. So when you look at, like, Jesus said, I am not in the world, right? There's a scripture that says, I'm in the world, but not of it. He really brings this forth, right? I'm in it, but I'm not of it. Meaning, I'm in it, I dwell in it, I'm around it, but it's not my foundation of who I am, right? So when I start looking at the demiurge, there's two cats. I don't know if you've ever heard about them. One you definitely have if you have a religious background. One is, and I'm going to start with that one. The one is Yahweh, right? You go, ooh, Yahweh, you can't do that. Oh, yeah, we can do it. Let's start talking about that. And the other one is the Gnostic story of Yada-Baoth. These were demiurges. And what the demiurge really meaning is that the fact that, as you see, and I mentioned on the video talking about the school board meeting, for me, when I look at this reality, nothing's defaults to balance. It's always predator and prey. Like I said just a minute ago, Jesus said the God of this world, right? And Paul did. One of them said the God of this world, which I believe he's talking about. We would say Satan or whatever. It's a demiurge. It's It's the notice in this earth and this system that the reality we see every day with every aspect of the system, it never locks us into unity, love, appreciation, gratitude, nor neither that does it ever bring us into deleting the settings so we don't always default to prey and predator and prey. The reality is always predator and prey. So when you kind of look at this, I'm going to start with the Old Testament. We're going to go right in on Yahweh. Yahweh creates stuff and walks around, but then he gets angry, repents he made man. He's always having what you would say, if you really get to a deeper understanding, he has a war between his ears. He says he's not human and he created all things, but yet he's jealous. But don't you be jealous, because you're a downright rat crap. You're a rat sinner. But God can be jealous, but don't you have all power, knowledge, wisdom, strength, and you know you're the only one? So if somebody says they are and you know you're the only one, why does that even ruffle your feathers? So in definitions, the demiurge actually means that which actually leans towards more being angry, mad, and violent. So when I look at this Yahweh character, they find him in a burning bush off of Mount Sinai, right? And we just went over the sin god, the moon god. So the story, Moses climbs the mountain, goes and gets the tablet of the law on this place called Mount Ai, or Sin, and that's where he sees a burning bush that doesn't consume. And you go, well, yeah. Okay, then he gets the law. I know when you tell me you're a fire god, you don't have balance, because if you're a fire god and you don't want any water would be your balance, first of all. And even in the Gnostic story, it's about a mother having a son who's ignorant but has power to create the demiurge. And then besides that, what's else Yahweh do? Man, they're coming like us. They're making a tower. Knock it down. Meaning, but didn't you say that you wanted people in your own image, right? Which is a whole different story. But yet when they came like you wanted to knock them down out of the image again? Sounds like a lot of jealousy, a lot of anger. Then in part of your 10 commandments, you tend to say things in the 10 commandments, and thou shalt not kill, and thou shalt not steal, but your chosen people have been given the right to go kill and steal, and you tell them to, but you said the law said not to. A lot of contradictions, a lot of anger, a lot of deceit, a lot of jealousy, and when I see the jealousy, it makes me even backtrack that how we were told that jealousy is a sin, that you don't need to be jealous. You don't need to be jealous or covet your neighbor's wife, which would be jealous. Somebody has something you don't have and you have jealousy, or somebody you're jealous of the woman somebody else married, or whatever your jealousy could be. Money, it could be things, it could be whatever. Jealousy is a bad trait that doesn't produce much, but yet you're the God and you struggle with it. But it's, if I'm a sinner, downright sin, but there's no sin in you, but you do it. I see something different here. That would be the whole demiurge thing. So when I look at demiurge, definitely Yahweh. I more and more, I mean, me and a couple of other folks were talking about this a number of years ago, how when he talks and acts, it's like a jealous person, human. But you say that you're this elevated source of power. I know that when we got elevated out of certain conditions and understandings in the past and moved on, we didn't go back and suck the bottle of the past condition and understanding. We didn't run back to the church to seek dogma. Why? It's not really something that sticks with you. It doesn't. It's like having a meal that don't stick. You found the really good food and you threw away the trash of the dogma, but yet you say one thing and always do another. You go in more depth of Yahweh, but that's just think about that. Now Yada-Baal. So in the Yada-Baal story, he has a mother. I think it's Sophia. I could be wrong. I'm going to actually read some of this book. We're going to read some of that secret book of John here in the future, near future. And in the secret book of John, the woman, as a child, without going to the council of the concept, or the council of the elevated spiritual beings, she did it secretly and produced a son named Yada-Baal, who took from her power, but yet lived in ignorance and darkness. And everything he created always made others suffer. Even the demons and angels said that you make us suffer, and they became more and more jealous. He became jealous. The people became jealous because he even realized that the people what he created, which would be a type of me and you, he was like, they can be greater than me. And then the jealousy set in. That would be Yada-Baal. The angry, mean, ignorant God that tries to rule, but doesn't do it out of love, hope. I'm all power, I'm all knowledge, I'm all everything, I'm all, I've walked out of having, I don't really deal with jealousy, I don't really deal with certain things, I don't deal, and always going back to lower stuff, lower self. Not enriching, but pretty much like a demon or something that you would call negative. That's the demiurge. It would be the god of this world. Some would say Satan, but this is way before the Satan. Satan comes into the language, right? The demiurge would be connected to that. In Hebrew, the word for Satan is like the opposition. Like if you're the Los Angeles Rams, your main rival is the San Francisco 49ers, right? That would be the opposition. That would be your Satan. But as we go into the new, we see that it actually means it's raunchy, it's corrupt, it doesn't have a purpose. All it does is thieve, destroy, and that would be the demiurge. Thieve, destroy, murder from the beginning, right? So when you start looking at it, I'm going to read a little bit about this. It was the Middle Platonic and the Neo-Pythagorean, Middle Platonic, Neoplatonic schools of philosophy. The demiurge, sometimes called the demiurge, is an artesian-like figure responsible fashioning and maintaining the physical universe. The Gnostics adopted the term demiurge. Although a fashioner, demiurge is not necessarily the same as the creator in a monotheistic sense, because the demiurge itself and the material which the demiurge fashions the universe are both considered consequences of something else. Depending on the system, I like that. They may be considered either uncreated or eternal or a product of some other entity. So when you start looking at this, the demiurge, right, goes into Platoism and definitely Gnosticism. The supreme being, demiurge creator, identified in the traditions with Yahweh. There you go. The God of the Hebrew Bible. Several systems of Gnostics through the present demiurge will agnostic to the will of the supreme being, that is a creation initially having the malevolent intention in trapping aspects of the divine in the material world or in other systems. The demiurge is instead portrayed as a merely incompetent or foolish god, I would say demigod, and an unconscious attempt to replicate the divine order. That's dogma. Except these folks did it now to lead you astray. They knew exactly what they're doing. And as you go down, it will go down and deeper. And I will get into this when I read this the secret book of John. And why I say this? Because we're at 15 minutes. I know my videos have definitely been a lot longer recently, right? Was that the demiurge in Gnosticism would be like Jesus saying the God of this world, or Paul saying the God of this world. I'm not in the world or not of the world. Neither love the things in the world, or the love of the Father's not you is really telling you don't be connected to the system, because if you love the system, the love of the reality of the deeper parts of yourself's not there, because it would always bring you back, meaning you're not going to advance out of the states of being until you give up that love of the system of what the demiurge, not fulfilling. What do we always have? A predator and a prey, right? Predator and prey everywhere you go. Look at all these countries. It's always predator and prey mindset and predator and prey mentality, right? Predator and prey. Always. Right? I'm going to see if there's anything. And then when you look at this, you start seeing the aspects it goes into the right in here, who I'm going to talk about later, and I'm going to bring up now, because Yadabaoth, and it's Yaldabaoth, Yadabaoth. I like to tap it and hear a pronunciation of it, but I don't think it will if I tap it. A malevolent god, a demiurge, creator of the material world, in various Gnostic sects and movements, sometimes represented as a theromorphic lion-headed serpent. He identified as a false god who keeps the souls trapped in physical body, and they keep repeating over and over, imprisoned to the material universe. Imprisoned to what? The material universe. Yaldabaoth has been subject to speculative theories. Yaldabaoth, the demiurge and Yaldabaoth, right? Yeah, you start looking at this as a child of darkness is translating Yaldabaoth. And when you read the story in John, the mother repents that she did this without the counsel of the higher consorts of spiritual power. She creates it secretly. He steals her power. He has her power with no knowledge. It says he's ignorant in his darkness. So he starts doing things that don't benefit people, that create division amongst the people. But he creates a people, humans, that he gets angry and upset about, and then divides the angels and the demons, because they're all jealous of the human, because they said the human is stronger and has more abilities than we do. What you did with us, Yaldabaoth. It's kind of a quick substance of what that kind of means. But anyways, yeah, this is good stuff. I will get in the secret book of John. I think it's heavy because this is what I'm seeing. When I see this system more and more, this makes sense to me. Why? This system, like I said in the video when I talked about the school board meeting, the system never defaults to balance and wholeness. Never. Never. It always defaults to imbalance. Way far one way. Then the pendulum swing the other way. Then the pendulum swing back that way. I mean, we've had some craziness politically since all this, the 2012, right? The 2020, with all that crap. And then we've seen this mindset and stuff happening in the school. Can definitely get people up an edge of some of the stuff happening that doesn't make literal sense. You know, when we look at it, doesn't make sense at all. A lot of confusion, and they propagate the confusion. But what if we go to the other side of all this confusion and everything goes to, you have to be a Puritan, way the other side, and not go here with common sense and awaken common sense, because that's what I see. I see this doesn't have, I talk to people and I'm like, the thing that's missing, the thing that's missing when you could have other cultures, other languages, and this is something I've had in knowledge of, and I've kind of went to this and mentioned this in the past, is we have a word called common sense. So if you had somebody that was speaking another language, and then you had somebody speaking exact another language, and they couldn't really talk, they couldn't connect on culture, they might try each other's foods, they may attempt to connect, but the thing that would make them connect would be Common sense, because everybody should have common sense. But as we see now, it's pretty much uncommon to have common sense. I don't see common sense exercised but by a few, right? And the system doesn't have common sense because I believe what it is. It's a system, and a system's a program. A system's what? A program. A system's a program. And nothing ever defaults for the goodness of everybody coming to unity. Even the whole political aspect, all the way from Rome, or many of these is divide and conquer, 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 divide and conquer. Everything used is divide and conquer. So nothing has a refresh button to go into center this. This is where the demiurge and all this makes sense. Because I was, even like I said, a couple of years ago, I was really looking at that Old Testament and measuring it. And I was looking, this is bipolar. And if I was really could go deeper and go in on it, that it's just not, calling it bipolar is actually kind, because it's way worse than that. I mean, he's one, go kill all the children, kill all their cattle, kill all their wives. It doesn't matter. But then in a story before, what do? Thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. But then you're telling everybody to do what you said thou shalt not. That's called confusion. That's called confusion. So when I started looking at this, I was like, man, this God, Yahweh, sounds human, confused. All power, but yet I'm jealous. But you be jealous. You're a sinner going to hell. But he can be, but you have all power, knowledge, wisdom, and you deal with jealousy? I'm telling you, it makes sense to me. More and more I'm seeing. And nothing in this reality, I'm getting ready to stop because we've gone 22 minutes. Nothing in this reality ever defaults into unity and balance. Never. Never. Think about it. It's time to open up this third eye in your consciousness and see and observe from another place that nothing ever goes into balance and harmony. Actually, I was talking to somebody last night, my significant other, and I said, do you notice that everything they're pushing is plastic? And the first original program, they're burning down the forest. Meaning nature's not paid any homage. They're trying to get you away from the program of nature to ground and get in nature. They're trying to tell you, I mean, remember what happened in 2020 when all the crap happened? Don't go to the beach, we'll give you a ticket. The very place that would be the best thing for you, the mountains, the beach, of healing, they said don't go. So it doesn't promote that program because it doesn't ever go into default settings to balanced. We've been so retarded left the last, few years with this stupidity. It's called a punk and that which is. I'm not going to pull no punches. Are we going to go here with a change? Still have our freedoms, but not have stupidity. Or are we going to go and be Puritans and make everybody go to church or make everybody be a Puritan? That's not balance either. But anyways, you have a good day. This was about Yada Baoth, the demiurge, and Yahweh. So you guys have a great rest of the day.